if you're anything like me, you still watch the odd Skyrim video. Then one disappointment that does kind of have a special place in my gaming life, involving college contest and a box. There could only be one. An empty mess that was meant to be sort of this money machine, but kind of did more damage to a franchise than to my bank account after buying just one game. Then the most recent mess that just kind of felt like going for a walk. And like anyone with no new ideas, they redo the whole thing again because... money! Then I look back at all the things Bethesda have done over the past years. Dangling future game releases in front of all of us, not really actually releasing any of them. Xbox and Bethesda grouped together in the weirdest thing and probably worst thing I've done for gaming, maybe? If you are, this is a Mumble kind of on off topic. If you're thinking about the acquisition of different companies in kind of video games, you have obviously bad ones where they close down and you don't see games, but it does feel like Xbox acquisition, whatever the word is called, is kind of the worst for gaming? Maybe? Probably. As it took a lot of games away, actually. No Wolfenstein, Doom wasn't that good. But looking at Bethesda now and all the icons they've done in the past, can they bring back, pluck another icon from the icon library? And can they still do it? Let's mumble about that. By firstly looking at the kind of most forgotten game by Bethesda, I think Bethesda have even forgotten they revealed this game. Kingdom Hearts fans, I'm a true Kingdom Hearts fan, been a fan for so long, even making a video on it soon, and we've all been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 4, yeah? All been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 4, and then we got that really underwhelming trailer, but it feels like if you are waiting for Kingdom Hearts 4 and you compare it to some of Bethesda's reveals, we've been on a salted cakewalk. Go back to Elder Scrolls 5, way back, well, Skyrim, and you kind of see it as the pinnacle of Bethesda.
When are you gonna take it?
Sometimes I don't.
And then the slow trot to corporate greed and boredom. Now we look at Elder Scrolls 6 and see if Bethesda can actually do this. How can they do this? As personally, I have high hopes and low expectations. I think we should start at the basics. And what is Elder Scrolls really? What is it? To me, it's always been freedom. Sorry, there's someone at the door. Good morning, Vault-Tech calling to offer you a place in Vault 572. No thank you, London Gamer will be there. All you have to do is subscribe and gain the place to Vault 572. One of the main kind of games that kind of trademark the main campaign, the main quest. What was that again? Something about a dragon? Hell? Oh, I don't know. But not really the side quest, but just getting lost in a cool, expansive world. But in the end, I would say the last 3 locations of Elder Scrolls, we have had the kind of gimmicks. We had the Fae, we had the fire, we had the dragon and the wardrobe. Heavily inspired by something else, and I didn't know it was even existed in 2011, obviously this being D&D. Since then, I've dived full headfirst into Critical Role, currently on Campaign 2, Episode 130 if we're precise, but thinking into my dark, mumbling crystal ball, when I think freedom, I think simpleness. I want corruption, I want darkness spreading. I know that's a gimmick, but I want this kind of darkness, corruption spreading across the world. I know it's been done to death, but if we're going by D&D standards, we need a Vecna type villain. Just try this kind of take over the world feeling. I think we might have kind of had it with an elf thing at one point. I'm not sure if that was a whole Oblivions thing, not 100%, but I just want something a bit simpler. Not hell, just darkness and kind of like a grit to it. With it feeling like it can really go 2 ways. It can either go overcomplicated, like trying to understand Kingdom Hearts after only playing 3 games. Take your pick. If you played any of the games, it'd be confusing no matter what. Or it could become simple as a Sunday roast on a Sunday. You just don't change that. Then though, this is what I want more than ever. I want freedom of taking down the villain. I don't want the simple route to do all this. I want freedom here. I want multiple ways of defeating the big bad, from maybe a controversial mechanic to turn into a simple A to Z type method. Even though the main rumors are that the next Elden Scroll will have this kind of sea element to it. We're going to ride the 4 seas of Elden Scroll. I don't know how many seas there are in Elden Scroll. I have no clue. I know there's a whole world. I don't know. But I look at Bethesda and kind of think, can they do this? As I do want to kind of build my One Piece adventure in Elden Scrolls 6. Building that crew, building that kind of experience, going on that adventure. But then I look at Starfield. Starfield feels like that would have been like how they would do the sea level. Do you know what I mean? The ships, the everything. So will we even have good ship play, or will we just have another fast travel experience? Will that be it? Will we build the crew, speak to the crew boringly, nothing really will happen, and then we just go, oh, we're there. Even though arguably Bethesda need to step out of this kind of comfort zone to make Elden Scrolls 6 worth playing, as it really will be the question. Should I just play Skyrim, or should I play this new Elden Scrolls 6, La Sigoon? Instead, we bring back arguably the worst part of Fallout 4, what I kind of liked. Remember them sentry things? Sentry, not the sentries, the actual sentry. You know, the areas you protected? We kind of make it slightly more complicated. We can take over a town, a city, and rule it ourselves, or give it to someone else to rule. Then the land, it changes by the way around it. We don't really manipulate it through building here and there. The world, the towns, the cities change depending what is around that area. The emblem is made depending what monster may be attacked it at some point. What kind of animal is there? Is there a fire elemental that attacked the city and destroyed part of the village? We see the villages change from what we see them take on the image of that elemental, and through that kind of attack it changes the village, it changes the people. We still see the scars of that attack on the villagers, and then we see the kind of village adapt to that. We see them have more things to fight the elementals. We see them maybe even take on the emblem on their armor to kind of say that they can't be attacked. They take on the kind of personality of the world and put it into their cities, and that's how you can make it feel more alive. I know a fire elemental isn't that big of a deal, but maybe it could be for that one village. That is kind of feeling they start wearing fire armor. That emblem is a weird crown or skull of a fire elemental. I think they're skulls.
That was horrible.
And on top of that, if a village, a castle or whatever is attacked, it takes like a real life game time, not like actual real life time, but like the fast paced time in games to build that town back. After you see it has new defenses put in place to take down that certain enemy. We see people die, we see families grow, we see the world as alive as it possibly be. If a king or queen is assassinated for better or worse, we see a new one take its place. Maybe we could even try to take over and fail, and through this we could inspire a town to hate us, and that could be the inspiration around a town, a village, a city. We could attack it and they could be inspired by us to build a defense against what we use to defeat them. Or it even could be as simple as this town has never been attacked, it's been safe, but they've saw maybe some deers, a mountain face in the distance, and that is their coat of arms. They don't have to. Their whole world needs to be this balance of living and fun, carnage and rebuild. All this kind of detail could make La Sigoon Elder Scrolls 6, if you don't remember, I'd call it La Sigoon Elder Scrolls, could make it feel fresh, like having that first sip of Dr. P on a Monday morning. I think when I look across kind of all of our journeys in these games, the location doesn't need to be complicated. We don't need massive gimmicks on the location. It can be something simple. It's a dark area. Darkness is the enemy. We can even go towards even more of their kind of D&D roots. We can have beyond the enemies. We can have mixed with this world that just feels alive. Come closer. As I think with these elements, Elder Scrolls 6 could be maybe the best Elder Scrolls ever. The only thing is now Bethesda feels like a completely different beast than it was when it made Skyrim. That's my biggest worry, but it feels like it's a lot easier to make a kind of new Elder Scrolls 6 game than the other side of the coin. If Elder Scrolls is like the problem child, he's burned some bugs or something, but they've grown out of it. The other child is the one that's already in prison. But really, if the two kids are just troubled, can you really blame the kids?
It's the story you create by who you are and the choices you make.
But holy big boy on an apple pie. Ew. All the Elder Scrolls mistakes were made on purpose. All the money-hungry stuff. And then apparently the good MMO. I'm not an MMO guy, I don't know. Fallout, on the other hand, you look at their kind of choices and it makes you feel like, was that made by the same company or was that made by another one? Significantly worse one. Fallout 4 being disappointing to many, but then we have Fallout 76. What was this weird kind of cash grab? Had nothing really in. It's been updated to high heavens now, but still, it doesn't feel Fallout, does it? It doesn't feel like a Fallout game. People still play it. I tried so many times. It's just kind of bad. Technically, the last kind of Fallout Bethesda kind of game, what was good was in 2008. With that in mind, I look at Fallout 5, a completely different beast and an easier thing to say, a more apocalyptic beast, not just some simple dragon here on paper, not a simple D&D game, what isn't never really simple if you watch Critical Role, and more of a sort of boring beast. For Fallout, it does kind of feel like the location will be the base of the problem. The reason being that yes, there's a lot of locations that the American audience would think it would be cool to visit, okay? But for someone from the UK who doesn't care about buildings being around lowly, made about 250 years ago, it kind of bores me. Ooh, a White House? Ooh. Faces on a mountain? Is that from Naruto? Oh. An owl bar. It's actually more the environment that interests me, and even though me personally, a completely different country would be my choice, but the last time I mentioned that, it went down more painfully than watching the World Cup. However, a new environment does feel like it's kind of needed to get out of that Fallout 76 stink. So what do? We've had a desert, we've had a city. So what else? We have another city, we have a bigger city, we have a New York City with more buildings and more crap. No, we turn this on its head. Nuclear winter. I want the full nuclear winter in Fallout.
Later, make everything seem cool.
Think like 4, where everything is good, we live in a day in our life, Fallout lifestyle type thing. Just make this skippable, make the intro skippable. I know it's skippable through mods, but I'm a console guy. I'm not a modder boy. The gods of kind of gaming, the kind of people who make these games survive through years and years, the ushering of Valkyries of Valhalla into the gaming sunset of battling through everything, keeping them alive. I wish, I'm jealous of modders, okay? I want to get into modding, it's scary. I will try at some point. Well, definitely probably will try now, actually. Then we go into the bunker. We have to go into the bunker, but just make it skippable after the first time you play it. But still, we go into the bunker. Blah, 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 blah. We leave the bunker blinding light, but not from a basic hot-locking place. We open to see a blizzard of nuclear winter. That alone moment, even though we're not really sure about that change, will make this whole game feel different. We're not exploring another grey, sun-drenched wasteland what has gone to greens and greys and all this sand and muck. This time it is white. This familiar feeling of all these greys have gone. We are now in this kind of heat of nukes in winter. Technically a bit cold, but not heat. You know what I mean? Nuclear winter. Not only that though, it forces new designs. I know Bethesda probably want to cut corners and everything they do, but this forces new designs because it's a new environment. That means things evolve completely differently. Imagine this, a death claw. Not a normal death claw, not this kind of weird crocodile-y type death claw. What actually animal would it? I don't think it even looks like an animal, does it? Imagine like an owl kind of berry death claw that has fur. It looks completely different. Imagine meeting it for the first time, feeling that freshness of an enemy. Because when you see a death claw now, it feels like you saw 100 death claws, even though they are scary as hell. And I remember going back to New Vegas and finding like 5 of them or 4 of them in the same area, and that was still scary and a sort of shock. But still, you know what a death claw is, and I want to re-experience and meeting enemies for the first time. I don't think you can really do that if we just go to a new city. Through this, we have death claws that are kind of hard to find, like tigers hiding in grass. They're mixing into more of an owl bear type thing. The world brings this sort of mystery back to Fallout. It makes everything completely new, as it has instead adapted to these kind of warm, nuclear fueled elements to the colder, harsher. We keep it in America because no one wants to leave apparently. Just one state colder. Surely there's a cold state that could do this in. I don't really know any of the states, but there is one surely. I think Detroit's pretty cold. I usually see snow if I ever see any of that, if I watch wrestling or anything. This gives a shock to the system of all of us that have been playing Fallout for so long. Since Fallout 3, none of us really played 1 and 2, and if you do, I salute you, but still, we know these worlds very well. And changing this environment would kind of change our thought process on what is next. And it kind of gives some weirder things as well, weirder sciencey stuff and weirder kind of atmosphere. Just adds a lot to the game. Go back to all the American cities because people want to see a couple of cities and people will buy it. I will buy it as well if it's good. But give a shock to the system first and then go back in probably 15 years. But when I think of all this change, when I think of all the possibility of something completely different, I just don't see Bethesda making it. Do I see Obsidian? Yes, I do. It makes sense to bring back that studio that you own, arguably made the best kind of Fallout game in your series. When you're making 2 remakes, a 5th game, you need something different to kind of make people interested. However, if you have a studio that can make better games than you, why not make them or ask them, not make them, give them the franchise for a little while and focus on Elder Scrolls yourself. Maybe it's time for you not to make the game. Even if they made this Fallout game that felt different, currently I struggle to trust Bethesda to make a good game that feels different. When you could give a franchise like a box of chocolates on a Monday to a studio that could take this franchise and make it this gold standard, maybe back to its kind of golden elements. Even though looking at the kind of last Obsidian games, they have made some iconic games, but looking at the past ones, it does slightly feel like they are doing Fallout Light and Skyrim Light. And that is a weird feeling. It does really make me ask the question, could even Obsidian bring Fallout back into the glory days? Now, looking into the true abyss as I try to fall asleep at night and answer the question, can Bethesda continue some of the best video game franchises? I would split these franchises apart, taking the reins away from the big bad Todd in the sky. Ooh, that makes it sound like he's dead. He's not dead. And just give Obsidian the whole kind of franchise of the Fallout. If they can bring it back to the glory, give him the Fallout ball, the big boy ball, and let him run. Let him go to the moon with it. On the other note though, I think they might make a decent Elder Scrolls. I would keep that under Bethesda's belt. They need something big to kind of make him feel like the big boys. And not Xbox's left hand. Actually, for you, it's this. Stage left? Which left is it? Your left. Hold out your left hand. Xbox's left hand. Yep. But with that, what do you think? Do you think Bethesda can do it? Do you think Bethesda can bring back the Elder Scrolls 6 and make it feel better than Skyrim? Can you think they can do it with Fallout? Or do you think they should kind of let Obsidian do Fallout and they should carry on doing Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, whatever the fuck it was? And also, do you think these ways I've said, these kind of Kickstarters, these kind of ways they can bring back these fresh ideas into these games, do you think it would make them better than their previous ones? Or do you think I'm going in the wrong direction? Comment below your thoughts and I will see you on the next Mumble.